Time flies. The shift hours hurry by and speed us onto untried ways. New seasons ripen, perish, die, and yet love stays. The old love, like sweet at first, at last like bitter wine. I know not if it's blessed or cursed, thy life and mine. Time flies. In vain our prayers, our tears. We cannot tempt him to delays. Down to the past, he bears the years, and yet love stays. Through changing task and varying dream, we hear the same refrain. As one can hear a plaintive theme run through each strain. Time flies. He steals our pulsing youth. He robs us of our carefree days. He takes away our trust and truth, and yet love stays. O time, take love. When love is vain, when all its best joys die, when only its regrets remain, let love too fly.
Hey guys, Matteo here. Welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to talk about ND filters and a little bit about diffusion filters as well. In particular, we're going to take a look at the NiSi True Colour Variable 1 to 5 stop filter. Now, as many of you know, I've been a NiSi user, a NiSi customer for many years. I have a vast variety of NiSi ND, and I've been loving these filters. NiSi is a really cool brand that does some great quality products. So when NiSi reached out to me for this partnership, of course, I was super excited, and I was even more excited when they asked me to shoot a piece for them, not just the typical review, but an actual video, an actual project, where I can showcase the capabilities of the variable ND. And also, this made me rethink a little bit about variable ND. Because as already told on the channel, I was not a really big fan of variable ND, mainly because of the color shift and the X effect that it was doing and all this sort of stuff that variable are known for. So when they sent me this variable, I was like, okay, let's give it a try, because if it actually works and it doesn't have any color shift and it's a good filter, it can be a very powerful tool. If you're running gun, one-man band, this kind of stuff, a variable ND is a lifesaver. Now they also sent me the Black Mist, which is sort of Black Pro Mist, and I have to say I really like it. It's a little bit more punchy in terms of halation compared to the Tiffen, but I've been really loving it, and honestly, paired with the variable ND and my other 3-stop NiSi IRND, I think I was able to create quite a unique look. So something worth mentioning, guys, is that Blackmagic cameras, they don't have a proper IR filter inside the sensor, so if you're gonna use this variable ND, which is not an IR filter, you need to use a proper IR cut. Now, there is another problem when we talk about IR pollution, is that ER pollution is much worse the higher you go with the neutral density filter, so with the ND intensity. So for example, at 5 stops, even if I add the 3 stops IR ND, it gets pretty messy. So I didn't have any problem using the 12K with this combination of filter, maybe because we never shot at noon. So my variable ND was always at 2, 3, max 4 stops. Now let's talk about this project that we have done, that we created together with NiSi and this crazy filter. So basically I just had this idea. I'm a big fan of Terrence Malick, and I always wanted to shoot something a little bit abstract, a little bit visually pleasant looking image, but with wide angle and flares. I mean, that is generally my style, but I also wanted to do something with a story. So in this case, I sit down and because I also have this crazy obsession about time, and I think time is fascinating. What is time? We don't know. I mean, it's a very absurd kind of concept when you think about it. So basically what I did for this project, I was going through poem. They were talking about time, and I found this poem from Ella Wilcox, Time and Love. And I really liked it, and I think it was really a cool poem that I can turn into a voiceover. And we were able to capture some beautiful images. But let's just jump to the setup that we use for these videos. So I decided to put a 3 stops IR&D as a first filter in front of my lens. And I did this, of course, because of the air pollution problem, but also a lot of time I cannot shoot at f2 on the Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Why? Simply because internal ND are only 6 stops. And in a bright day, especially here in Lisbon on the beach or whatever, 6 stops is not that much. If you want to create a dreamy look, or you want to keep your lens wide open, and keep in mind, guys, you don't just shoot wide open because you want to blur the background. For example, with my Leica, I want to shoot wide open because at f2, they're very soft and they create this dreamy kind of look. I was already starting with the base of 3 stops, which is pretty good. And then, of course, I put a 1 to 5 stop variable in the end, and I can go from basically 4 stops total to 8 stops total. And it was extremely helpful, and it was a setup that I really enjoyed work with, because it gave me the freedom to just open up an f2 and create a dreamy look and blur the background, and you see the images. It's pretty cool. And of course, the other thing that this ND help us achieving is that bokeh, that nice blur background that everybody love. And of course, as I mentioned before, most of the camera perform much better during the day at high ISO. And if you want to shoot at high ISO, of course, you're going to have a lot of light coming in, and now you stop the light with ND filters. At the end of the day, guys, an ND filter is one of the most important tools that we have to control our exposure and the light that comes through our sensor, our lens. And all I can say about this variable ND is that it doesn't have any color shift, it doesn't have any weird X happening in the sky or any vignetting. It's overall very clean, and the footage looks beautiful. So I'm pretty impressed. I have to admit it. I wasn't again really trusting variable ND anymore, but I think NiSi with their technology, they pull out something pretty crazy here. Again, guys, do not go cheap with ND, because once you have your beautiful Pocket 6K, you have your beautiful vintage lens, and then you put a crappy ND in front of it, it's gonna ruin your image completely. And as I mentioned before, also for the shoot, we used the black mist, the quarter that NiSi sent me, and I was pretty impressed. I think the combination of that 3 stops ND plus the variable plus the black mist, it created that dreamy look that I was really looking for, and they worked out pretty well. I'm really impressed when I see that 12K footage on my new Apple Studio Display 5K. It's just stunning. With the NiSi, you can clearly tell there's a diffusion filter in front of your lens, and it does create a dreamy look, especially on the skin tones. I like what it does on the skin tones. It's crazy. Smooth out a little bit the highlights as well, but it also lifts the shadows quite a bit. And at the end of the day, guys, I'm super happy with how it turned out. It is a visual poem. There's nothing more than a visual poem about time. And I just tried to tell the story as best as I could and try to get emotion into people's mind. So I hope you guys gonna like it, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description below. Thank you so much, NiSi, for sending out these filters. Now they're gonna be part of my kit, my everyday kit. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.